Am I the a-hole for being brutally honest with my friend about why women don't like him? Yes, this is a long post, but it's a long story. Hear me out. My friend, whom I'll refer to as Nathan, a 25-year-old man, has had terrible luck with women for a very long time. He does have a bright future ahead of him in terms of his career. He just graduated college last year and is currently in law school. However, he has been homeschooled his whole life and does all his college courses and law school online, not in person. This leads me to my next point. He's never had a girlfriend, never been on a successful date, is still a virgin, and doesn't have many friends in general, so his social skills are really underdeveloped. His only real socialization was with older people, like parents, grandparents, and fellow elder people. And me. We met through family friends. As a result, he was raised very sheltered and doesn't have much in common with anyone his own age, let alone women his own age. To top it all off, he's been super focused on school and being the best student he can be, so grades were his #1 priority during his developmental years. There's nothing wrong with that. However, he never took a break to live life or have any experiences. Nathan has had multiple girls his family introduced him to, starting in 2021 until now, in hopes of them giving him a chance, but they ended up just not liking him. I really hate not being on his side and supporting him through his constant rejections from multiple girls, but it's gotten to a point where all these girls have the same complaints about him. Nathan is about 5'2", and body-wise, very skinny and petite built. He's also starting to bald and has no bodily strength whatsoever. He starts shaking just from holding a grocery bag. I hate to sound rude, but the truth is the truth. He is built like a little girl and has the hairline of a father of 3. While I understand that height can't be changed, and not necessarily his hair either, he can at least start working out and possibly add some weight or muscle to give him some manly appearance. I mentioned doing this with him in general conversation. Whenever I go to the gym, I tell him to come join me as a hobby or just to be my gym buddy. He declined numerous times, and the one time he did go, he struggled to lift a 10-pound weight, so he stopped going. Okay, whatever. The way Nathan dresses gives off a grandpa vibe. He tucks in his shirt, wears dress pants or slacks and dress shirts on an ordinary day, etc. I asked him why he doesn't dress more comfortably every day, like wearing a jogging outfit, a hoodie, some jeans or sweats, and that he should wear sneakers instead of dress shoes every day. He doesn't think there's anything wrong with how he dresses, explaining that he wants to look professional since he's going to be an upcoming lawyer. I explained to him that lawyers dress in suits and ties, not tucked-in button-up flannels, and they also don't dress like that every day, just when they're on the job. Sadly, he wasn't having it. Then it finally hit me. It's his personality, or lack thereof. See, I'm not trying to talk down on him, but if we're going to go by objective reality, he has the personality of a brick. I've seen with my own 2 eyes how he talks to girls and how he acts on dates, among other things. He cannot make a conversation to save his life. He is not funny either and has zero charisma. He's a literal mute on all double dates and one-on-one dates he's been on, and it's painfully awkward to watch. It's not like the girls aren't trying either. I've managed to get him dates, but they go nowhere due to his lack of confidence, personality, or interest. When he talks to a woman, all he knows how to talk about is school. And if it's not school, it's just radio silence, or some topics that only older people would understand or care about. I've also noticed that every time he and I go out somewhere, and I'm not sure if it's due to his size, he is scared and flinches whenever people walk past us. He's always afraid that doing anything or going anywhere fun or interesting is too wild or dangerous for him, like concerts, bars, amusement parks, etc. So, I did it. He whined and whined, kept being full of bitterness, complaints, and negativity, talking badly about women and saying they never want good men, but only players or good-looking tall guys. So I ended up telling him straight out that the reason he doesn't get anywhere with girls is because he's a dork. I told him I don't care if he's a dork since I'm not the one dating him, but that girls crave excitement and fun, or at least someone they can talk to about anything or have fun experiences with. I told him he refuses to change anything physically about himself, and to top it all off, he won't even make himself at least interesting or fun to be around. And he is completely dull. That is why he can't attract or keep anyone. He then got mad at me and accused me of picking on him and making fun of him, saying I'm holding his life circumstances against him. No public schooling or socialization. I told him I wasn't, and I wish I was just talking nonsense. I was telling him the truth. I explained to him that his lack of social skills and appearance isn't necessarily his fault. However, if someone's giving you advice on what's stopping you from getting where you want to be and how to change it, you should take that advice. Quit complaining and stop thinking everyone should accept you as you are. Because newsflash, we all have flaws. I told him that if he wants to get somewhere with girls and not have constant competition, he needs to have something to make up for it, because there are plenty of lawyers and future lawyers in the world. Simply saying, I graduated college isn't going to make someone have a connection or attraction to you. He told me I'm jealous that he's getting somewhere in his life academically and that other girls are the problem for not seeing his worth and future success. He believes that if that's not enough for them to be with him, then they're the ones not good enough for him. I have not talked to him since then, and I refuse to associate with someone who thinks I'm envious of them for giving constructive criticism to a problem they constantly complain about. My dad is saying I'm right, but also that it's probably an insecurity on his part, and I should apologize and try not to be too hard on him. I feel like I shouldn't be friends with somebody who can't ever see what's wrong with them or accept their flaws without crying about it and blaming others, as that's just plain toxic to me. Am I the a-hole? I work in a hospital and I see many men during the most challenging times of their lives, the in-sickness part of things. I've seen very big men with lovely wives. I've seen long-term double amputees with chronic health conditions accompanied by supportive wives and men with complex chronic health conditions. There are men who are balding, not traditionally attractive, older men, and short men. The men in happy relationships, or those who are with partners that society perceives as above their league, all treat me, a woman, as an actual human. This holds true even when they're in agony or when I'm performing intimate care. I can chat with them, they have passions and interests and are good conversationalists who see me as a human being. Having a man weaker than me wouldn't be a turnoff, but having an incompetent man would be. Imagine a man who notices that there are only 2 toilet rolls left and decides to buy more before forgetting. Do not underestimate the positive impact such consideration has on ladies. As for limited interests, I know a lot of men, both autistic and neurotypical, who have very specific interests. For some, it's their career, for others it's a hobby, movies, or something else. What matters is having passion without arrogance. I know at least 3 university tutors who are not conventionally attractive at all, but their faces light up when students ask questions. No question is considered dumb. They genuinely love their topic. They welcome emails and have much younger female students who have crushes on them or who affectionately refer to them as daddy. Of course, these men would never pursue anything inappropriate, but that is part of the appeal. They are safe, trustworthy, and good people. It also helps greatly if you're a good listener, which ties into my first point. Treat women as human beings. My ex-boyfriend was quite successful in his romantic life because he genuinely liked women and spoke to them as he would to any other person. I remember a time when a guy approached him after watching him chat with a girl on a bus for a few hours and asked how he managed such interactions. His answer was simple: he treated women as people. I'm quite sure one of the main reasons I fell in love with him was because he made me feel seen and heard, as if he sought to know me on a spiritual level, not just physically. Even 10 years after our breakup, I still reminisce about him. It's a deeply impactful experience. The twist is that I wasn't instantly physically attracted to him, but as I got to know him better, my perception changed. Now, I find him incredibly attractive. How you act toward a woman can significantly alter the way she perceives you as a person. It's insightful to observe how much you can learn about someone based on their behavior when there's no immediate benefit in being nice, or when they hold some kind of power advantage in a situation. Recognizing there can be other factors at play, like social anxiety, treating people like people serves as a strong foundation. Seeing others as people, without regard to gender, race, or attractiveness level, is essential in my opinion. Equally important is understanding that a conversation involves 2 roles: speaking and listening. Many of us eagerly wait for our chance to speak and inadvertently tune out the other person, or we seize an opportunity to share everything we know about a topic without respecting what the other person may already understand. Most people don't go on dates to receive lectures on someone else's passion, regardless of the topic. It becomes mundane unless delivered by a skilled speaker. Again, there are factors that can influence one's ability to interact well, but usually choice plays a part. To the original poster, an uncomfortable truth is that many who complain about their situations simply want to vent. They resist change, aren't seeking a path forward, and don't care to hear what they might be doing wrong. This mindset can be incredibly frustrating to be around, manifesting as toxic behavior when it's pervasive or recurrent. It often reflects someone unwilling to adapt to their environment, preferring instead that the world adapts to them. Absolutely this, but men often refuse to listen when women express these sentiments. We're either accused of lying or told that we don't really know what we want. Additionally, to the original poster, if you presented all of your grievances at once in that manner, which I couldn't even finish reading, then yes, you are the antagonist of this situation and were exceedingly harsh. Not the a-hole. But as unrelated practical advice, I think asking him to do things he knows he would not enjoy, like concerts and bars, is not helpful. I would encourage him to find and pursue time in a hobby he has any sort of potential interest in, because then you can talk to other people who also pursue that hobby, which immediately gives you something to talk about. Usually, it's not too hard to find a club or group for any potential hobby that exists. This is really helpful for people who are not good at holding conversations. Oh, I've tried that. The thing is, he has no hobbies or interests. He's just focused on school, family, and more school. I've recommended hobbies to him, like getting into cars, sports, or even video games. All of it is unappealing to him as long as it's something fun and not related to being ultra serious, respectful, and studying, unfortunately. Not the a-hole. But my friend, brutal honesty does not mix well with raging insecurity. You essentially added fuel to the fire, and now your friend is likely to become even more defensive. Learn to use the sandwich technique when offering advice. Start with a compliment, follow with constructive criticism, and end with another compliment. This approach effectively prepares the person you wish to help and makes them more receptive to what you have to say. Brutal honesty can feel like a slap in the face and may be very jarring. Sandwiching eases the impact of the criticism, cushioning it between 2 positive statements. The fact that he's taking even his law school courses online is concerning. He might turn into an eternal online student just to avoid interacting with people. He could probably benefit from a public speaking course, something like Toastmasters. You've been a good friend, but unless he recognizes that he's his own worst enemy, there's not much more you can do. I don't understand how he can hope to succeed in law school without basic social skills. There aren't many jobs where being unable to hold a conversation will allow him to keep a position. In fields like computer science, sure, I have worked in it, and there are many individuals who believe women owe men romantic acts and that certain discomforts are legitimate reasons to complain. But law? That's different. I was going to say something along these lines as well, although maybe a bit harsher. As a lawyer, to be honest, any law school where you can take classes entirely online is probably not a well-regarded institution, which doesn't bode well for career prospects. This ties into a broader discussion about the proliferation of law schools and how many of them are just degree mills not looking out for your future employability. People need to be very careful and deliberate when choosing a law school. But I digress. Beyond that, I just can't imagine someone being a successful lawyer without having some social skills. Even if you're just handling contracts or mergers, you need to be able to engage with your clients.